Hello and welcome back to the Mad City Podcast. This is, of course, your host, Pat K. It's been a while. Too long, really, too long. And to be honest, really, I'm not even sure if I really want this to be still the Mad City Podcast. I've sort of settled on like an overarching sort of umbrella title of OverdoseMedia for just all the things that I do, like my YouTube channel, my Spotify, Twitter, all the stupid shit. And it's Overdose Media because I feel like even though I'm adding to it like right now, that's what all of this is though, and it's like what I'm doing is because it's a result. It's the effect from the cause, what do you call those? Starts with an O. What are those snakes that eat themselves? I want to say obelisk, but that's clearly not it. That's like the Washington Tower or something. But you know what I mean. It's yeah. So I was thinking maybe like Overdose Media Outlet, because it's all Overdose Media. Like I'm overdosed on media. It's inexplicable. It's too fucking much. My mind, my heart, my nerves simply just cannot sustain anymore. I feel like I'm gonna fucking explode. Like there's so much I have to say about all of the things that are happening. And I don't just mean like, in the world, all the things that we're all fucking witnessing, which is insane and crazy and just spectacularly mind-boggling, obscene, and somehow mesmerizing. I don't know. But my own personal life, like a lot of fucked up, crazy shit has gone up and down and in it and through it and back out again. And fucking, yeah. So, all right. Well, where to begin? Well, I guess I might as well just get this out of the way. I mean, it's been on everybody's mind lately, in the pit of everyone's stomach, like a big knot. I mean, there's no, it's inescapable. Like you can't ignore it. It's all over the news. It's something everybody I know has been talking about. And it's not really surprising, It was to be expected, but still, you're like, God damn, what the fuck? And of course, I'm talking about the death of Ozzy Osbourne. You thought I was going to talk about Trump and the Epstein files, didn't you? Well, yeah, we'll get there. But no, I do want to just quickly talk about this because so many people are like, "Oh my God, I can't believe it! Ozzy is dead." Like, he did that farewell, not tour even, just like farewell concert, and it's like that was thinly veiled. Did nobody see, anticipate? Have any expectations of what would follow? I mean, like Black Sabbath and Ozzy, have done plenty of, farewell tours, but this wasn't a tour. This was just like one show. and they wheeled him out in basically a wheelchair disguised as a throne, and he was haggard and decrepit and deservedly so, and that's the thing that kind of like irks me about all of this is like everybody seems so blown out of their seat. It's like, dude, it's a fucking amazing that this guy lasted as long as he did. He snorted ants. Like what the hell? God knows what else. I've done some fucked up shit. I shut up somebody else's blood one time because it was like coagulating in the syringe, and like there was no way they were ever gonna get it in their veins because at that point like chicks' veins were garbage, and everybody was shaking so much from all the coke. But I was like, it's gonna go to waste. My veins at the time were still pretty fat and smiley. So I was like, if I can probably do this. So I did. I had to push real hard, but I got that in there. And I look back at that like I shot up another person, not just another person's blood. Like, people get transfusions and shit, but that stuff is checked now. Like we don't have Ryan White situations happening anymore. Like it's like, well, fucking what's the word I'm looking for? Not vexed. Jesus. Anyway, it thoroughly checked. And this chick was not even close, like wearing her clothes, you probably likely to come down with something, ringworm or fucking scabies or something, fucking lice, I don't know. But anyway, yeah. So why is everybody so surprised? First of all, he's Ozzy fucking Osbourne, and granted, he hasn't for the last 40 years or so, like, well, maybe 30 years, he hasn't partied like he used to party, like where all the lore comes from. But he's still fucking Ozzy Osbourne. He did still do all those things, and somehow, like, miraculously survived this long. People that just try to take really good care of themselves throughout their entire lives don't always make it to 76. That's normal age to die at for a man in this country, sort of, I guess. But yeah, I don't see why everybody was so fucking shocked. That guy, he earned that death, All right. So moving on. I almost died again last year. I was riding a bicycle, and it was so fucking stupid. Like, I just, like, very impulsively and, like, with just sheer self-will, pushed this situation so that I could acquire this hand drum. That's not even, like, a good fucking drum, but, like, I had to go get it before going to a doctor's appointment that was actually really important. Because, like, a month before that, I fucking, while putting my bike on the front of the bus so I could ride the bus, I fucking pulled my right bicep muscle. But I didn't just pull it. Like, I ripped it, that and the ligaments from, like, the elbow, and now it's just this ball of, like, muscle, like, up near my shoulder. It looks super fucking weird. And I had an appointment that day to have like an ultrasound to see if, they could do any repair on it. But instead, I fucked around and did this dumb shit, crashed on my bike on a sidewalk, like near the highway. And that doesn't really matter. Like, it's not like I was in danger of being near the highway, but that part of town that I was in, there's not like a lot of heavy foot traffic. The only reason that I'm speaking now out loud, and not in like a spooky way, is because some person that was driving by that happened to just catch a glance of me, fucking face planting, called 911. I don't even know if they stopped. But it's a good thing that they did that. Because the reason that I don't know if they stopped is because I wasn't conscious for 2 days. It's by far like the worst concussion I've ever suffered. And I've had quite a few. And I mean, I've been knocked the fuck out. Like, I've had my bell rung, but it's like, you kind of come out of it a little bit. I was out. And on top of that, I had a fucking brain bleed. So I was closely monitored in the ICU. And, yeah, it's fucking crazy. Like, if that person hadn't called 911, is just like, I mean, it was literally the least they could do. They didn't stop to check me out. They just made the call, like, oh, well, that works out, I guess, and went about their day. But thankfully, I don't even know who it was. I should probably look into it and maybe try to thank them somehow. But yeah, so that happened. And since then, I've been dealing with the repercussions of such a traumatic brain injury. Since 2019, I've been dealing with, the aftermath of that concussion, TBI. The problem with that situation, that everybody was so concerned with how broken my face was, they didn't, like, doctors and shit didn't really seem to concern themselves very much with, whatever damage might have been done to my brain. And, likewise, back in 2001 or 2, when another time when I was faced with I was challenged by two, aggressors. I got my bell rung that time. Didn't go out completely. It was like half a knockout, like a TKO. Yeah, but like that it was never brought up then. The big concern out of that situation was the damage to my hearing. My left eardrum got ruptured, and now I'm like mostly deaf in my left ear, and that's always been a fucking drag. So it's like, I'm taking on more damage as life goes on, but seemingly I still am impervious to flat out death. I somehow just will not die. At least not by any means of man, or at least any other man. I don't think I'll like seriously be gone until like I decide. And I don't mean like by jumping off a building or putting a gun in my mouth. I mean, like, I just have to be like at that point where I'm just like, I'm good. Like, I think I did all the things on my checklist, and then, I'll go. Of course, as I've said, previously, in my rantings, on the Mad City podcast, I do have a theory that all the times in which I have, quote unquote, had a near-death experience, or almost died. Perhaps, in fact, I did. Maybe I did actually 100% fucking die, cease to be a living person on this plane of existence. But instead of, pearly white gates or, hellfire or just, eternal void, just sort of clicked back on, just like a reset. And it's like, well, what happened? we're just back online, as if nothing. I mean, something happened. Clearly, there's it's a jarring experience, but you're still here somehow. But it feels different somehow. So something's changed, and my theory is that it's I do in those times leave that plane of existence only to go to another plane of existence. It's sort of like the multiverse theory, or like the many worlds theory, however you want to call it. There are realms or realities where I have, in fact, because of an overdose or some reckless physical behavior, or, just somebody that was very angry with me for whatever reason, punched my clock. And, no pun intended. And in those realities, friends, family, it's concerned citizens, whatever, mourned me and, maybe attended my funeral or some sort of get together. And as time has gone, as time continues to flow forward, in this linear, what we, believe is a linear fashion, fewer and fewer people are showing up to my funerals, and not just because, more and more of my friends as time goes by, die themselves, at least, from my perspective, but just because, I'm just becoming more of an asshole as time goes by, because I'm so perplexed and confused, and all of that comes through and out and at the people around me, unfortunately, they catch the brunt of my dismay, and that's a bummer. I mean, obviously I'm not the only one that's, doing this, but, I mean, everybody's an asshole to some degree. But it is funny though, like when a person dies, all of a sudden everybody was their best friend, and all anybody can say about them are just all the nice things. And, somebody who dies, leaves the world, and everybody just has nothing but good things to say about them, I call bullshit. Like somebody's covering something up, and even if that person was always super nice and chill and loving, what were they hiding? What were they overcompensating for? I'm telling you. All right, so that's some things. Work has been weird. I mean, just as a concept, being a working person has been difficult, because like the things that I would like to do, that I'm genuinely good at, I mean, one might even say like, like where I can use my gifts, it's been challenging and frustrating, because I know what I can do in certain positions, not like of authority, but just like, being put in a position of just access to resources, and being able to apply those in times when, someone is in need. If I had access to the board, I know when to push the right buttons, and that would be great. It's terribly frustrating that I don't have access to these things. And, therefore I've been kind of left with no other choice but to seek other means of employment. And it's not like, oh, these things are beneath me, or, I'm too good for this. Or even I can't, I couldn't possibly because such and such is too difficult. It's not that. It just feels like inappropriate, just like the wrong fit, like I'm in the wrong place, yeah. So I because I am who I am, I still step into, the wave, or, step into the fear. I jump into the wave, and just do my best to, stay balanced and not eat shit as long as I can, while trying to get the hang of it. Because me, I'll try anything 8 times. So, fuck it. I like new experiences. I'm a curious one, always have been, and I like being knowledgeable, and sometimes the best way to learn is by doing. So, so I try to do all kinds of things. The thing about it is to not try to put everything into that as if don't have an expectation. That's been an issue for me throughout my life is, I attempt something and I go into it with this great expectation of, what I think it's going to end up like, or, how it will turn out, and, what the effect will be. And generally there's a lot of disappointment that goes with that. So I these days, as I chip away the ego and, and find that Tootsie Roll center of wisdom, the gooey center, I find that it's better to have standards. No expectations, simply standards. And when I'm able to activate that in a genuine way, in daily life, things are not as bad. So yeah, just today I had my first day working in a pizza place again after 16 years. And I stepped away from all that, not because I thought, oh, I'm better than this and I could do more. It was just like the just the atmosphere, it's just like everybody's doing drugs, blatantly, and it's chaos, and it's very unpredictable, and it could put a person like myself in risky situations, not just like a temptation, but just being around fucking people that you don't know what the fuck they're gonna do, and the pay generally sucks, and after a while you start to hate the smell of all those foods. But that was the past, and now it's, that was Gumby's, this is Pizza Hut. And oh my fucking God, how soulless and sad this was. I just learning about where this processed food comes from. They don't even pound their dough. They're not tossing. It's just so empty. Like, who are these people? What is going on? I don't get it. And like, I don't recommend anybody eat any of this stuff now that I know kind of a little bit more about where it comes from and how it's made. It's garbage. Yeah. I honestly, I made the decision today to set myself up to go and canvas again. Going door to door, essentially begging, middle and upper class white people, mostly, for charity donations to PBS and NPR. And I get behind, the concepts of both, and especially now that this bullshit fucking administration that's running the government has basically completely defunded those things. Like, they're actively trying to just make this country worse. It's just the world a terrible place. But I hate it so much. I mean, all the walking and the heat or the rain, I mean, like, that is its own kind of shitty thing. It can be. But it's just a feeling of just having people be so disdainful and apathetic. And it's not even like, part of it sucks because it's like, it's so close to the treatment I received being like, a homeless, drunk, junked out street kid. Like, people just looking down at you like you're a degenerate piece of shit. Like, there's that element of it. But that's mostly just kind of like imagined. There's similarities, so it like pokes at previous, unresolved feelings like PTSD, essentially. There's trauma there. But the real fucking just the real hell of it all is just seeing people not give a shit or just be so self-centered. It just makes me so fucking sad, and it's like, I know that people suck all over the world every day, but like, I don't want to have to like go to their house and try to talk to them, like, because then it's like, I feel this responsibility, like, not like I have to save them, but like, just try to get like a different perspective in their fucking minds. And it's a lot to carry. All right, we're going to take a little break. We're going to pause for a moment, see if I can find some music that I won't get sued for throwing in here. All right. Be right back. All right, I guess it wasn't. I did take a break, but I guess from the perspective of listeners, it just kind of like I was talking about before. Like, life just seems to continue going in this linear fashion, when in reality, a whole lot of things happened in between. So yeah, this job, I don't know. I think I can maybe do both. Like, I could do the delivery stuff on the weekends when, like, you know, there's actual money to be made. I mean, I somehow came out with $50. There's no way I made $50 in tips. So I think David fucked up. You know? And because I'm not really being trained. You know, I'm just sort of being just barely guided along like a dark path, you know, while only certain people have, like, you know, good visuals. Yeah, I don't know, this whole situation seems super fucking sketchy. Not like corrupt necessarily, like criminal, but, well, maybe corrupt, but, you know, in some fucked up legal way. But, yeah, I don't know. So, perhaps do the deliveries on the weekends and walk around knocking on people's doors during the week, a few days. You know, a little of this and a little of that, you know. Like part-time. 2 part-time jobs. You know, that'll keep things, you know, lively and fresh, mix it up a little bit. So I don't feel like I'm, you know, getting sucked down into despair because, like, you know, there's too much existential crises going on in either. That could work. And hopefully this is all temporary, because at the clinic that my lady works at, they're creating a position for me as an outreach specialist. And that would be fucking amazing. You know, being able to put in a position where I can, like, effectively assist others and educate professionals on how to better communicate and serve the populations that they, you know, serve. So that, and all around, would be really fucking cool. It's just taking a lot longer than I would have hoped. And the longer it takes, you know, like, the more my mind starts to convince me that, like, it's all bullshit and it'll never work out. But I don't know. So it's like, I don't want to, you know, attach myself to anything, you know, too very specific. And, you know, that I be more difficult to walk away from or something. And, you know, I mean, I can walk away from anything, obviously. But, you know, that won't look good, you know, in the grand scheme of things. If I just fuck something off to go to something else, and, you know, it's like trying to, like, date 2 women at the same time or something, and then, like, you dump one because you feel like, oh, I got the better thing over here, but then you go to the better thing and then they find out you were actually still fucking around with this other shit, and it's like, no, it's like, oh, now nobody can trust you, you know, like that kind of situation, backhanded bullshit. So, yeah. Alright, enough about me. What's going on in the world? Well, last night there was a 8.8 earthquake off the shores of, like, the eastern coast of Russia. You know, up around the Alaska coast, or Gulf, the Alaska Gulf. I didn't even know there was an Alaska Gulf. But, yeah, so everybody was anticipating this, great tsunami that was pushing water towards, Hawaii and, the West Coast. And, it was like 4 feet of water. It was the height of 4 feet, fucking like a midget's height, a Peter Dinklage swell of water. But, it's moving like 500 miles an hour. So, I mean, I don't know, like, it's like people are just itching. Like, people want disaster. They don't just want to go to the movies anymore. They want literal fucking disaster to happen. Like, people are ready for the world to crumble. Like, it's like this YouTube guy, comedian who's hilarious, Ryan George. He's got this one sketch where he plays multiple characters, and one guy is like, "The end is near," and the person walking by is like, "Really? Yes, the end is near." Like, when? Like, soon? Like, well, can it be sooner? Like, people are getting impatient, like, what? No, you don't want the end. Like, no, I'm, kind of done with everything. It's like the world has hit bottom, in like recovery terms. When a person hits bottom, they're no longer like so ambivalent. They're just like, I don't fucking, this isn't working anymore. I can't convince myself that it's worth trying to stick it out, and yeah, that's where we're at as a society and a species. All right, there's so much more I still have to say, but I am fucking tired. I did not sleep last night. That's been a big problem for me lately. Like, I either always sleep or I never sleep. Like, I'm up for days or I'm in bed for days. Fucking just back and forth. But I'm for real exhausted right now. So I am going to just pick up a couple things from the store. Go and cozy up on the couch with my lady. And yeah, fucking just out for a little bit until I gotta get back up and charge at the world again first thing tomorrow morning. Well, it's been great. If you haven't yet, please do all the things, like and subscribe. Check out the YouTube channel at OverdoseMedia 777. If you just put in Overdose Media, that's probably fine, but I had to put in the 777, which, as some of you may remember, is my first, middle, and last name are all 7 letters. Each one is 7 letters. Anyway, but even if you just were to plug in Mad City Podcast, or even Mad City Streets, like if you do it all one word, it'll all take you back. But you can also go with Sharp Dressed Man, which again is all one word. So there's multiple ways of tracking me down in social media world. Check out my blog, Kicked in the Conscience. Read some of my articles. There's a great one about how social media is basically breeding narcissistic behavior in people. And, I wrote that before TikTok was a thing. So I think I was onto something. I'm going to get back at this and check back in with y'all very, very soon. Till then, as Jerry Springer would say, take care of yourselves and each other. Bye for now.